Hey guys, this is a guide for how to reliably find GPUs in Tarkov, whether it be for the farming part 4 task or maybe just to complete a daily or weekly task, or even if you're just trying to farm them for rubles or for your Bitcoin farm, then in my opinion, interchange is going to be the best option other than going to labs. But since I know that labs really isn't viable for a majority of the player base, I figured that I would make this guide to hopefully be able to help everybody, since these routes can be done either on your PMC or if you would prefer, then your scav. And basically you do have two different approaches that you can take for finding GPUs on this map. You can focus on the high tier tech loot spawns, or you can also focus on trying your luck hitting PC blocks throughout the mall and then staying mostly in the offices and away from the center of the mall and the other high traffic areas. And also the route that I will show you guys for the PC blocks can have you hit up to 40 different PCs, which is pretty wild. But I will end up showing you guys both of these different route options so that you can pick which way that you want to approach this task, or even use a combination of the two different routes to maximize the potential, depending on where your raid ends up taking you. So starting with the valuable loot spawn route first, I am just outside of Ollie and I will be turning to my right in order to head up these escalators, which are just beside the Texo store, which we will come back to in a second. Once we get up to the top of the escalator, then directly in front of us is going to be the Techloid store, and inside of here then you will have several possible high tier tech loot spawns, and the most important places for you to check are going to be on the table to your left as soon as you enter into the store, and then I do tend to walk along the entire left side of the store checking all the different shelves on both sides of my PMC as I go. And then once I do get to the end of the store, then I will come back along the right side of the store to check all the shelves that I missed on this side before heading down the escalator that we initially came up, so that we can go and check the tech store that we originally bypassed to head to the second floor, which is called Texo. So once we get down to the bottom of the escalator, then Texo is going to be on our left. And inside of Texo, I always check the top of the washing machine at the front of the store next to the first shelf, since this is a high tier tech spawn that can have GPUs, RFIDs, or even Tetrises. And then I end up making my way through the store, checking all the different shelves throughout it. And then when I'm finished checking all the different shelves, then I will walk along the back wall shelves to check there for any of the other tech spawns that can be there. After we finish in Texo, then I will typically go directly across into the furniture store to check for a GPU spawn that can be there. So once you get into the center of the store, on the far left side up against the wall, there is a PS4 that does spawn on a shelf, and beside that there can be a GPU that spawns here. After I check this spawn, then I will head back out of the furniture store and then take a right, and then the next store on my right is going to be Rasmussen, which is another tech store, and there are several high tier tech spawns on all the tables and shelves in this store, as well as just loose tech loot that can be anywhere on top of the tables or in along the shelves on either the right or left side of this store. There is also a desk located in the very back right corner, which does have a high tier tech loot spawn chance. After checking through Rasmussen, then I will head out past the hole in the floor and then down the hallway towards the center of the mall, where we will be going past Kiba and then over to the Mantis side of the mall. And then just across from Mantis, then you will have a tech store which is called German. And then inside here, you will have spawns to check on the display tables as well as on the shelves on the left and right side of the store. All of these different locations do have a chance to spawn high tier and regular tech items. And after I finish checking here inside of German, then I will head back out into the hallway and then take a right and then continue down to the end of the hallway where you will see a TTS store on your left hand side. Inside of TTS, there is the potential for high tier tech loot spawns on the tables on your left, as well as just loose tech loot spawns on the tables as well as on the shelves. Now, an optional place that you can check is inside the Emercom medical unit. If you do have the Emercom key, this key is relatively expensive for the first half of the wipe, usually going for 300 plus K on the flea market, since there is a quest item that is located in here for vitamins part 1, and also because there is the chance of pretty good loot spawning in here. But at the halfway point, then this key does drop to typically around 60 to 100K, and then the store is also located directly across the hallway from TTS store, and you do actually have 3 different entrances into this Emercom medical unit that you can use, basically one on any side of the store for you to choose from. So depending on your situation, you do have options to get in or out of the store, which definitely can be good considering that the store has metal floors, so people can typically hear you in here from very far away. And for the purpose of this guide, then the high value tech spawn in here is going to be located right in the center of the unit beside an old PC on the table, as well as having some loose tech loot spawns on the shelves beside it. After this location, then I will cut us all the way over to the far side of the IDEA at the top of the escalators, and we will turn ourselves around to the left and then head into the IDEA offices room. Inside of here, there is 2 potential loose tech loot spawns as well as high tier tech loot spawns on top of this weird shelf thing, as well as a GPU spawn in the back right corner on top of this box. While you are here, you also have 3 potential PC block spawns in this room that you can check, And then you also do have another room that you can go through these double doors and into the back storage room where you can have several different spawns throughout the shelves. So make sure that you check around on both sides on the bottom shelf as well as the middle shelf, because you can have spawns anywhere inside of here. And then the final spawn location that I can show you guys is going to be down at the power plant. So I will cut us just outside of Idea, and then the power plant will be here on my right. So as I go through this side door here to the power plant, then we will continue past the power switch and inside of this back room. On our immediate right is a shelf. And this shelf almost always spawns some form of loose tech loot, but it does also have a very high rate of spawning a high tier tech item. And also inside of this back room, then usually there will be 2 to 3 different PC blocks that can spawn here that you can check. And if this is the end of your route, then you can also potentially take the car extract if it did spawn in for you, or you could always just turn on the power if it wasn't already on for you to go and potentially take the 11SR extract. So now we will go over the PC block route, and I will be showing you guys most of the main locations where PC blocks can potentially spawn for you to loot, and showing you guys a route that you can implement into your PMC or scav raids. Just keep in mind that with dynamic loot, there is always the chance that a PC that normally spawns into a raid may not be there for you, or you could even potentially have more than usual. So it is always a good idea to check each room that I do show you guys, since it can vary from raid to raid. But as we do go to each room, then I will tell you guys the average number of spawns per location that are typically there. So we are here in Ollie, just at the top of the main entrance stairs, and we are going to veer a little bit to our right, and just on the other side of this wall is an information desk. This is the first of 3 different information desks that are located inside of Ollie, and each one of these different 3 locations does have the potential to spawn 2 different PC blocks inside of here. So after we loot this first information desk, then we are going to jump back out towards the top of the main stairwell. However, we will be going a little bit to the left towards the Ollie offices. But before we go into the Ollie offices, then there are some desks that are on the left-hand side of the door. So typically there is a PC block behind the first and third desk, but in this video there is only one behind the third desk. So as you guys can see, this is already a change with the dynamic loot. So after we check these areas, then we can now head into the Ollie offices area. And then once we go back into the offices hallway, then the first door on your right is going to be the Ollie logistics office, which does have a PC block in there typically, but it is locked. So you will require the Ollie logistics department key in order to go inside. If you don't have the key, then you can just bypass this door and then move on to the next 2 rooms on your right, where both of these rooms typically do have a single PC block inside of each one. So you can check both of those, and neither one of these require a key. So once you check both of those rooms, then we will continue out through the door at the end of the hallway and then veer to the right, where you will see another set of double doors, and then take the first left and then continue through the next 2 doors as well, in order to get to one of the back offices where there is the chance for 3 different PC blocks to spawn back here in this office. And honestly, this room is very rarely ever looted just because of how far that this office is located out of the way for most things. So typically this will be free loot for you. Once you finish looting inside of here, then we will head back out the same way that we came in, and then you are going to keep right and then head out into the main Ollie store area. And then this is where our second information desk will be located, just directly in front of you. And typically there will be 2 more PC blocks inside of this area. After we loot this second information desk, then we will head out towards the opposite side of Ollie. But once we get to the middle of the store, then we are going to find our third and last information desk, where again you will have the possibility of another 2 PC blocks. After we loot this third and final information desk, then we will head up towards the front of Ollie, past the cash registers and then the photocopy machines, and then take a right, where you will see the escalators as well as 2 sets of double doors at the end. And we want to go through these double doors and then take an immediate right, where you will see another door that you can go through. And then once you go through this door, then you will have a single door on your left that you can open. And then this will lead you to your first of 3 offices located in this back area of Ollie. Inside of this first office, there is usually 3 different PC blocks that can spawn in here. So after you check inside of this office, then we are going to head back out the same way that we came. Instead of going back out into the main Ollie area, then we will take a right and then head down this hallway. Once you get to the end of the hallway, then you are going to take a right, and then you will have another office that's on your right hand side there, where you can open up the door. And then inside of this second office, then typically there is another 3 PC blocks that you can check in here. So after you finish checking the second office, then you are going to head back out into the hallway and then take a right and then go down to the end of this hallway. And the final door on your right will be the third and final location for us to check inside of Ollie. And typically there will be 4 different PC blocks that do spawn inside of here. And like I said, this is the final location inside of Ollie for us to check for the PCs. So now we will be heading to the front of Ollie to head to our next location. Or if you end up finding some loot that you don't want to risk losing from any of the 24 PCs that I just showed you, then you can always try and extract at this point also. But as we get to the front of Ollie, then we will be going to the right along the furniture store and then past the escalator down this hallway through the double doors. And then we are going to take a left, and then we are going to want to go into the second door on the right, which is an office that does typically have up to 5 different PC block spawns inside of here. After we end up checking in here, then we will go out the far side of the room and then go through the next set of double doors, which will bring us into the Goshen store. And one way to know that you are inside of the Goshen store is by the big fire that is at the back of the store. And we will be basically bypassing the entirety of Goshen for this guide and going all the way to the opposite side and then through the double doors that are at the far side here, which are going to be located next to the food storage area where you can pick up food if you need to at Goshen. So we are going to be going, like I said, in through the double doors at the far side of Goshen, then in through the first doors that you come to, and then this is the same office where we had to go for the Goshen Cargo Manifest for Database Part 1. Inside of this office, there is typically 4 PC blocks with a 5th PC inside of the separate little office here on the left of this room. And after you end up looting this office's area, then you can head out into the hallway and then turn right and then follow the hallway all the way around until you get to another set of double doors. And then when you go through these double doors, then it will lead you to the front of the Idea store, where basically the only thing in Idea is going to be at the far side, as I showed you guys earlier with the 3 PCs in the far Idea office room, followed by the power station where you can find another 3 PC blocks and possibly take the car extract just past the power switch. Now obviously there is the ability to find these task items on other maps, however I found that Interchange does offer some of the best chances for most tech loot tasks since it does have so many loose tech spawns, as well as a bunch of PC blocks to loot on top of that. So basically you end up doubling your chances. Even if you end up spawning in late as a scav, you will almost always be able to leave with a good amount of loot since there are so many areas that people never bother to check, or basically there's just too much loot for people to take in general, so they end up having to leave loot behind, so basically it's shared between everyone. So hopefully you guys found this guide useful and it does help you to find some GPUs. And just so that you guys know, there is actually crafts that are available for GPUs at the level 3 intelligence center. However, since BSG has now locked the intelligence center behind an item that only spawns on labs, being the far forward GPS signal amplifier, this craft will likely not be viable for a majority of the player base. And there is actually a mechanic task called Chemistry Closet where you will receive a found and raid GPU as a reward. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is just a couple of my different social links in case you guys wanted to connect more easily. I am primarily streaming on Twitch now multiple nights a week. So if you do want to connect with me or my community, that would probably be the easiest way to do so. And if you do come over to the Twitch and you want to join the Discord community, then just type !Discord or cord in the chat in order to get an invite link. And if you don't use Twitch, then I do have a link in the picture as well as a link below in the description. And we are growing and currently have an active and welcoming community with people of all experience and skill levels. So there will always be someone who could help to answer any questions that you may have. As always, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.